Modern commercial feedlots are massive, highly engineered operations. Every pen and feeding schedule is designed to optimize the rate of animal growth efficiently. The primary energy source driving this growth is starch. For feedlot managers, starch is the central component of cattle nutrition. This starch is packed inside the primary cereal grains delivered to the bunks daily, specifically in barley, fields of wheat, corn, and sorghum. You can think of starch as the diesel powering a heavy-duty truck. It provides the raw, combustible energy that fuels the biological system. Because starch is the engine of growth, a feedlot's performance is directly linked to how much starch is being moved into the feed bunks. Every day, trucks deliver thousands of pounds of processed grain directly to the cattle. The logic seems straightforward. If starch provides the energy for growth, then a diet composed of pure starch should theoretically result in the fastest growth possible. However, feedlot managers do not feed starch in unlimited amounts. They deliberately restrict the concentration of grain in the total diet. Attempting to feed a maximum starch diet would not produce heavier cattle. It would cause the animal's internal systems to fail. Starch is a potent fuel source that remains highly volatile. To understand why it requires such careful handling, we have to look inside the animal. This story takes place inside the rumen, a massive, dark environment that serves as the cow's primary fermentation vat. It's a common misconception that cattle directly digest the grain they consume. In reality, their digestive system works through a middleman. The rumen is home to billions of living microbes. This microscopic workforce is responsible for the actual breakdown of the feed. When grain is poured into a feed bunk, it is these microbes that are being fed first. Running a feedlot requires careful maintenance of this unseen microbial population. At the microscopic level, rumen microbes attach to the raw starch molecules from the grain and begin the process of fermentation. As the microbes break down the starch, they produce compounds called volatile fatty acids, or VFAs. This diagram shows the three major VFAs produced during fermentation: acetate, propionate, and butyrate. These acids are absorbed directly through the rumen wall. Once in the bloodstream, they become the animal's primary source of energy. These VFAs are the biological currency that cattle use to build muscle and maintain health. The danger arises when the microbial ecosystem is flooded with too much rapidly fermentable starch all at once. This overload leads to a dangerous biological condition known as acidosis. This graph illustrates the mechanism of the crash. Rapid fermentation causes acid levels in the rumen to spike, pushing the internal environment into a hazardous red zone. This acid spike causes severe rumen upset. The animal stops eating and its growth performance completely drops off. By chasing too much energy too quickly, the starch overload effectively shuts down the very microbial engine needed to process the feed. To prevent this, we have to look at the work done in the feed mill control room, where daily rations are meticulously designed. The industry manages the starch paradox by identifying the specific limit of grain that rumen microbes can process without causing an acid spike. This scale shows how nutritionists balance the starch. They use precise amounts of fiber, roughage, protein, and minerals to buffer the rumen and keep the internal environment stable. This biological tightrope walk is why feedlots require such strict grain processing standards and ration formulations. A successful feeding program provides the specific amount of starch required for the animal's growth stage, rather than simply maximizing the amount of grain in the bunk. Managing the dual nature of starch as both a vital fuel and a potential hazard is a critical requirement for maintaining a productive and stable operation.